Hello everyone, I'm back with a new video for you today, and this time we're going to be covering Detlaff. Again, actually, a lot of Detlaff decks have been doing. He has been nerfed though, with the patch that we got, a week ago or whenever it was. And so he's not as good anymore, and, Woodland, Spirit, Gernichora are kind of more dominant in the meta in terms of monster decks that are popular. But I still wanted to play Detlaff, and I have a pretty different and unique deck here. I think some people have been running sort of similar lists in terms of the concept. And what is the concept? Well, it's kind of a long round value, kind of low amount of units potentially in round 3 deck, or at least a lot of stalling plays with spells and artifacts and weather and stuff like that, potentially, and immune units and whatnot. Basically, you're kind of baiting the opponent into a long round and then wrecking them with tools like Ragnarok combined with Lacerate, which can be very, very powerful, and of course can knock units down in strength to enable your leader and enable cards like Gregoire as well to work very, very well. So that's kind of the concept of the deck. What are the exact card choices? Well, we've got a kind of pretty weird bronze core actually, and I'm not sure if this works. You could definitely figure out maybe something better than Arcspore or Werewolf or whatever, but I kind of like having the immune units, and Arcspore's kind of a quasi-immune unit, because if they destroy it, obviously, they lose some value. So you can kind of play these out, either use Cyclops or Bruess on them, or just let them get destroyed for a little bit of extra value. At that point, they're effectively a 6 or 4, so, maybe in round 1 you want to start with Arcspores, maybe play a Werewolf or whatever to kind of get removal onto those Arcspores and have them not be too bad. Otherwise, you're pretty much, playing werewolves as just a kind of a stalling play in round 3 potentially. Don't really want those though, because they are only 4 points. So kind of just filler bronzes here really. Foglet's still quite good, although it gets answered quite a lot by locks at the moment, which is a bit annoying. We are playing Drowners and Wyverns. Drowners are very good because they can move stuff into Lacerate value or Ragnarok, so that's not too bad. Wyvern is it's just a good bronze, so I guess we throw it in there. 5 for 5 or better, not bad. Werewolf, we've got, again, because it's immune and can be a bit annoying for the opponent, Riders for the thinning. We've got the Crone combo because they're very, very good in terms of points. We have Ifrit and Bloodlust to do a bit of control to set up strength for Detlaff. I was toying with the idea of maybe taking Ifrit out for something else, because you end up maybe overkilling units sometimes when you want to get rag value, and when you want to proc your leader and Gregoire and whatnot. If you're trying to kill units, then it can be a bit awkward sometimes. But I think it works reasonably well a lot of the time, especially when you play them maybe in round 1 to destroy engine cards, and push round 1, maybe deceive the opponent into thinking you're just a regular Detlaff kind of control-y deck, when in fact you have this Ragnarok to really push the long round. You can try to get it most of the time with Naglfar if you need to, as a bit of thinning and consistency for the deck. Not completely necessary, you could definitely play around with the golds here, but it's kind of nice, just getting that bit of extra consistency on the rag, on the lacerate, not quite, but, on other tools there. And Gregoire, pretty damn good when you're aligning the strength to 1. We have Tainted Ale to really help out with that, and as another kind of stalling play, as you'll probably see in the games that we do play, you kind of want to just play a couple of cards in round 3 that the opponent can't interact with, maybe an Ale, maybe, an immune unit. Then you maybe play Curse of Corruption on their guy, and if you can, make the opponent's hand really awkward for them for at least a few turns in the round 3, it usually gains you a few extra points, and it's just, pretty annoying for them to deal with. They might end up misplaying or whatever. Ragnarok in the long run is obviously very, very good, and is kind of the real finisher of the deck, if you will. Curse of Corruption is in there just to kind of deal with big units, which, woodland, iced, whatever, is probably running, so we've got that in there to deal with them. Can be a bit awkward sometimes, but, whatever. You could try running just the big monster package with this, and I'm sure it would work quite well, but I figured, why not do a bit of a different take on a deck? I haven't really played much weather, I haven't really played much sort of artifacts and all this sort of stuff, so let's jump into a few games and see exactly how this deck plays. Alright, looks like Woodland Spirit will be the opponent. We'll see what we can do here. Might be a bit of a tricky one. The long round potential's there, but they have some really nice finishes. If we can't deal with those, then you'll be able to get a lot of points out of them. The werewolves here, not really doing too much. We can probably get rid of that Rider as well, and the werewolf here I think is fine to get rid of. As far as the bronze plays go, if we can play them in round 3, it's probably better than anything else. Better than playing them earlier on. Maybe not, because you're then playing a bronze in round 3, but don't really want them for now. Not going to do too much here. So what are we playing? Well, we could go with Wild Hunt Rider. We probably just want to play as if we're a normal dominance-based deck, so we'll probably go with the Rider into tactical advantage to make them think we're, you know, valuing the big unit, potentially deny their own riders and stuff like that as well. Plumard going to come down. We can probably go with the Foglet now to, you know, throw with the Cyclops if it isn't removed by Regis or whatever. And if it is, we can go with Arcspore and throw that instead, so not too bad. Double Plumard, pretty powerful opener from them. Probably going Wyvern first is fine because we'll get an extra, you know, point from the Thrive. When we Cyclops, that is. So we'll do that. Now we probably want to Regis there, Foglet, just to deny that thinning. And if we're able to win this round, we'll be in a great spot with the, you know, value out of Ragnarug. Hopefully we'll get it. It's pretty likely with the Naglfar for thinning. So aiming to get that long round, you know, online, hopefully. And it should be hard for them to deal with if we have, you know, a full 10 card round and last say to maybe deal with their big unit with Curse of Corruption. That's ideally what we're going to be able to do here. But they do have, you know, big amount of points and a couple of cards potentially in this round, so if they really want to win it, they can probably do that. Not sure there'll be much we can do about it. Typically not going to want to use any Detlaff procs earlier in the game, although I guess you could if you really wanted to push a win on even or something like that. And that's going to be a win in this round. I could have actually Cyclops there, maybe that was a better play than just straight passing. Could have Cyclops and, you know, got that Foglet out of the deck, but drawing pretty good cards here. We'll get rid of the Arcspore, pretty low value, and again, don't want those guys in the deck particularly. We could Naglfar to actually pull the Bruess and buff our other Crones, and I really like that idea for, you know, a play here in this round. It will also make sure the Ifrit is on top of our deck, so we know we're drawing only good stuff. The Naglfar can't brick in round 3, and then going to be a pretty damn golden hand as well. We can probably play Cyclops, just to get another card from them, I guess. Make their life a bit awkward potentially. If, you know, if we just go for that. So we can pass here and they'll have to play another card, and then we're going to have this full long round with Tainted Ale to set up our Detlaff and Gregoire and Ragnarug for the long round value. We'll have Curse of Corruption as well to deal with their final play, hopefully. If they stack all their strength into that, we'll really shut that down. And apart from that, hopefully drawing Lacerate, that would be very nice to see. So here, Werewolf is better than Arcspore, right? They're kind of similar, but they can't really do damage to this guy, so might make their life a bit awkward. Now, Lacerate's a good pickup. We can honestly probably keep this hand. We could also mulligan if we want to try to get a Drowner, which, you know, is probably a little bit better than Werewolf. And there it is. That will allow us to move something into Ragnarug. And they might be going with an Immune Werewolf as their first play. That'll be really good for us. And there it is. So we're going to be able to get full 12 value for sure, at least on this Ragnarug. Let's throw that out. And this is the surprise factor. He thinks we're, you know, a normal control Detlaff deck with some good old-fashioned, you know, big units and dominance-based stuff, but we're not. We're in fact going to punish this very, very hard. So we can now start, you know, by playing a werewolf and being annoying to them. Gonna try to brick any removals they have as long as we can. If we're able to do that, it's really quite obnoxious. But Neca Warrior is a card that we can probably just remove with Ifrit. Doesn't seem too bad, otherwise that'll get some extra value, really, won't it? Don't really want that to happen. And we'll keep the Curse. We could have used it on the Werewolf, but, you know, we're getting the guaranteed Rag value, and that's probably quite good. This we could, you know, deal with Drowner, but I'm kind of more interested in playing Tainted Ale, I think, here, and killing it with Leader Charge. If they do have Nithrol, okay, it's pretty annoying, but at least we got one, you know, one shot off with the Ale. It's maybe not the end of the world, it would be pretty bad, but, you know, the enemy leader's down and we're kind of already ahead on points, which is pretty nice. And there's a Katakan, which doesn't do too much. So we could Drowner, but the longer we save this, kind of the more value we will be able to maneuver out of the Lacerate. So we could probably instead play either the Wispess or the Weavess. Don't really mind either. They're both kind of bad, to be quite honest. We can probably play it onto Katakan. Not the end of the world. Gonna still be a target for Lacerate should we need that. And yeah, if you can get as much rag value as we're getting here, you're pretty much never going to lose, I don't think, with this deck. You know, unless you're horribly bricked or whatever. But we're looking pretty good right now. Again, we could play Drowner, but if we're able to save it, that feels even better. So this might be our Curse of Corruption. Then again, we could also play Gregoire. They're probably going to have like a Spear Tip or some kind of big unit, right? That Curse of Corruption can kind of shut down. So I'd kind of like to save it. Instead, it might be better to go for a Drowner and put stuff onto maybe this front row or the back row. I guess I kind of even like playing the Crone. We can always damage our own unit if we really have to. Probably that won't be necessary. So we can just play Crone, and we're going to lose some Thrive value here, which might not be correct. But if they, you know, play another card into this front row, we can then move and potentially enable that by moving the Katakan, for example, here. So let's go for that now. And we are going to need to find Detlaff value, but right now, you know, our last few cards are looking pretty nice, and we still have 4 extra points on the board. I kind of played into Nithrol a little bit by accident, but that shouldn't be too much of an issue. And they're going to have a big dude or two, maybe, so Curse of Corruption definitely going to come in handy. Osrel going to be the play. And going into the back row, so kind of feeding the rag value a little bit even more, which is quite nice to see. We could just go with the Lacerate now. They're probably going to play around it from this point onward. So I think going Lacerate is probably okay, and we can, you know, play Detlaff as well, should we want to do that. You know, maybe fire off a Tainted Ale shot, or kill the Katakan or whatever. That's probably the play we're going to make here. I think we'll just kill the Katakan, deny the Thrive, and yeah, not the other. Not this one, because we can use Gregoire on that potentially. Otherwise it might be hard to get Gregoire value, kind of. Hopefully not, but we'll see. They might not even have a big unit, so Curse of Corruption might be kind of dead, and that's something we've got to think about here. Do we just want to play it, or are we sure that they're going to have a big unit as their final play? In some regard. It probably will be a big unit. The question is how big. So if we do go with Curse of Corruption, do we win the game? That's really the question we should be asking here, I guess. It will be a 6-point play. So basically we've got to beat Spear Tip, which is 12. That'll put them to 45 points. So we'd need 25. So 25, we're getting an extra 4 here, 21. 20 points needed, 6 plus 10. Yeah, we can do it. We can actually do it. So we will play this here, I think. Just to be safe, because there's basically no play that will win them the game now. I don't believe. As long as we're getting our Gregoire value. As you see, we're pretty much, you know, ahead due to the ale and the procs of the fire. So we didn't even need the Curse of Corruption for big value, which is pretty nice to know. Not going to be able to get full value. Actually, we are. Never mind. What am I even talking about? We get the full value from the leader as well, crushing the long round in the woodland deck by, you know, pretty considerable amount of points. So definitely, deck is working as it should when you're able to get them in a long round, which, you know, pretty often are. Let's jump into another game and see if we can win again. And the next opponent is going to be Bruverhoog. Should be an interesting one. They're going to have a pretty long round, you know, focus deck, I guess, with Crushing Traps and Lacerates or whatever. And so will we with our Golden Weather. So we'll see who comes out on top. We can probably get rid of one Arc Spore. We can keep the other one because we can proc it with the Cyclops or the Crone, and Werewolf, not really feeling that. So we'll get rid of it. Red coin's going to be nice. We can maybe abuse tempo a little bit, or just bait them into a pass and then, you know, take the round and go for the long round. I'm not sure the long round will be that good against Bruver because, yeah, they've got traps and lacerate. And they can move their dudes around if they need to kind of deal with stuff, you know. Agitator going to be the first play. I don't actually mind Curse of Corruptioning that. I think it's quite good because we're going to deny Volunteers popping out the deck, probably. And that card might be awkward later on in this matchup. Might be able to hit the dragon with it, okay, but whatever. So we'll play the Arc Spore now to get the confirmed hit on the immune unit. That's pretty nice. But good news is that they can't play Volunteers yet, so might make their hand a little bit awkward. Maybe not, we'll see. Get some extra little value on the good old Arc Spore there. 6 of 4, not too bad. And often I find it does end up just being good value, a good value bronze. You know, even at its worst, 4 for 4 isn't really that bad. It might put the opponent in an awkward spot or whatever. We'd probably go ahead and play a Drowner. Get the Thrive going, hopefully. Back row, of course, to avoid Skirmisher. And then we got Foglet after that. We can probably play that on the back as well, I guess. Doesn't really matter too much. Since we don't need to play Cyclops, we can play Crone instead. But we are kind of lacking points in this hand a little bit. We don't want to play Ale or Gregoire if we can avoid it. Those are more kind of finisher cards than anything. Brewess is probably a good play now. And yeah, we can think about passing soon, but more likely we'll want to win the round if we're able to, of course. It's going to be a cleaver. It's pretty late on though, so not too much value from it. The question is, what do we want to do now? We could play a werewolf. It's pretty low tempo. Could also go with Naglfar and look for either a Crone or, you know, some kind of pretty reasonable play. I think we want to do that. Werewolf, not really that hot. You know what? I think we're going to take it and go for a Cyclops play or something else. I guess it might have to be Cyclops plus a leader charge or Tainted Ale to take it. Okay. Going to be volunteers coming out now. Still a little bit awkward. Since I played the Crone on the back row, I'm not able to throw it at Ithlin to set up Gregoire. So I guess we just take the pass here. And hopefully we'll go to round 3. They do have a Sheldon finisher, which is pretty nasty, and that might actually be the thing that spells defeat for us, if anything does. But we'll see how it goes. We do have the Rag in hand. We'll probably mulligan a Cyclops here. Not going to be too great. And then we could mulligan Wyvern as well, look for more golds. I don't mind that. We're going to play Werewolf on the pass, I think. So if they pass, that is, which they do. So play Werewolf. Not quite a fully, you know, enabled Ragnarok, only a 9-card round. We maybe should have passed a little bit earlier, not played the Naglfar, but I think, you know, it's a bit of thinning and whatnot. It's probably okay to do. Again, Cyclops not really looking too great. We can get rid of Wild Hunt Rider as well. And now the question is, will they have artifact removal? If they do, then playing Ale as a starter is not going to be very feels good. We could take the risk. Alternatively, we can just play Rider, and I think that's what we're going to do. We don't really have, you know, a way to deny them targets for damage for a long time. Rather, we're just going to rely on that Ragnarok value a little bit. We can lean on it with Drowner, maybe moving stuff. They can always move their guys out of the weather. That's the one problem against Bruver. Going to be a little bit tricky to get the full value from it. We might have to wait a few turns on it until they've got, you know, multiple guys in the front row or whatever. And with that being said, we can probably go with Wyvern as our next play here. We'll play back row again to avoid skirmishers. Very important to do. If we can. We will play into Lacerate or whatever a little bit by doing that, but shouldn't be the end of the world, I don't imagine. So if they've got a Gregoire or something now, that would be kind of annoying, but that would give us a target for the Rag to kind of bomb for a long time, so not the end of the world. And there it is. We can go with the Ragnarok now and then. You'll get quite a bit of value. We're looking at clearing out that whole row right now, so not too bad. We could also have killed the Gimpy. We probably should do that with Detlaff sooner rather than later. But Truant Boar is something that we can really nicely remove with Ifrit or Regis. Either or is fine. We'll probably play the Regis, I guess, for now. This is also a target for Gregoire, so maybe we don't want to kill it with our Detlaff for now. We can leave it up. Yeah, it's probably fine. So I don't know that we're in that too bad of a spot. If they don't move this out of the way with Bruver, then we're going to get the full value on Rag, and that's pretty nice for sure. Yeah, I guess we'll take Gregoire value as well. We could Drowner, but I'm kind of happy with him playing into this row, honestly. Doesn't feel bad at all. So we don't want to move a unit out of it yet. Probably Drowner will be our next play, and then we can play Ale or whatever to set up leader. We can play around Ida as well. But Sheldon with all the buffs is definitely going to be scary. I don't know if we can outpower him. If that is the card they have. They might not have it, I suppose. But if they do, and they're able to take the shield off Gregoire, it's going to be a nice target for them. One of the benefits of this deck is you don't have many tool units for them to hit, compared to normal monsters, so maybe you can brick their tool removal. Gregoire kind of goes against that, so might not be the best card to play. I'm not really sure on it. Okay, do we want to drown her, or would we rather just kill the Ifrit? That's a question we have to ask here. Probably, oh sorry, kill with Ifrit, I should say. Probably just killing it is worth doing, right? Don't think that'll be a problem. It's a bit of thrive value, but they would get value on the harmony anyway, so it's kind of whatever. Right now we're a little bit ahead. Not too bad. We'll see if it's enough. We'll see if it's enough. Tainted Ale, not the best, but when you combo it with a leader, it's not too bad, and Weave S is very good, so we'll see. We'll see if they have it. If they have a couple of bad cards, we might be able to take it. Drowner's going to be quite weak, so you know, definitely not surprised if we lose, but also, you know, very possible that we can win. Still getting quite a bit of value from Rag as the round wears on. But of course they're going to be able to remove a lot of our strength with a Lacerate or whatever at the end. Very possible. That's going to be a Brigade which, you know, we could remove, potentially. Moving it with Drown is a bit awkward because it will just kind of shoot if we do that. So we might have to just go Tainted Ale and shoot with that instead. Yeah, it's probably fine, I guess. We're going to be able to get another Detlaff proc off. Don't really mind it. Let's do that then. Again, Drowner. Till the very end, we're going to wait on him, I suppose. Now, is it worth firing off another one of these just to play around Ida a little bit? Probably is, right? Probably is. I don't think we lose any value on this Rag. We can always drag something into it anyway if we need to. So we'll just, you know, make sure we're not bricking at all here. We can still reach 4 damage, you know, threshold for Detlaff if we need to. And yeah, Gregoire's going to get kind of wrecked a little bit, I think, by the stuff. Good old Sheldon or whatever. But that represents a pretty nice target to get the Detlaff value on. Hopefully it doesn't just go into the row they're going to lacerate. Never mind. We are very far ahead and we have one more play left. We've kind of nuked that whole front row with good old-fashioned Ragnarug. Definitely paying off in this deck, honestly. And I guess we'll buff the Ekamara. Maybe that's actually incorrect. We should probably buff something else. Because then they're going to gain more value on the Bruiser movement otherwise. And yeah, we'll see if they have enough. Sheldon's definitely big. Is it enough points here? Maybe. The Bruiser plus Crushing Trap is never weak. That's for sure. And Sheldon's a very big boy at this point, so we'll see if they have it. It's going to be close, I think. It's going to be very close. I would predict it if I was confident, but I'm not confident in predictions. Okay, 2-pointer, pretty damn close. So it looks like our long round bested by the Bruiser, but you know, still pretty damn capable. If things had turned out a little bit differently, we might have been able to win that game. So yeah, there's the deck, guys. Not the best deck ever, but can definitely pull out some surprise wins, especially against some of the more meta decks if your opponents don't see this coming. Wanted to give Detlaff a fair shot after his nerfs. He's probably not the best leader that you could play for monsters or any faction really, but you know, if you feel like, you know, playing him in the faction challenge or whatever, then maybe try this deck, or don't, try something else. Totally up to you. Anyway, thanks a lot for watching, everyone. Do subscribe for more videos as always, and I'll see you next time.